looking for the one, what bitch you looking at the one? I'm the best yet, and yet my best is yet to come. Cause I've been looking for somebody, not just any fucking body. Don't make me catch a body, that's for any and everybody.
Alright, Demon Killers, it's time for another Star Wars discussion video. And we're going to be talking about Anakin Skywalker today, my favorite character. This is going to be kind of a biased video, so just, you know, heads up if you don't like biased videos. I'm going to try to keep it as unbiased as possible, but he's my favorite character, so, you know, can't make no promises, y'all. So, here's the thing. We're going to be talking about how Anakin Skywalker is, without a shadow of a doubt, the Chosen One. The one that is prophesied to bring balance to the Force. Orange soda. Okay, so here's the deal. A lot of people theorize that Luke Skywalker is really the Chosen One because without Luke, Anakin, in their mind, would have never killed the Emperor. I disagree highly. I don't think that Anakin really needed Luke to bring balance to the Force, and here's why. If you follow all the canon, I don't know how to pronounce this, novelizations, the comics, you know, Star Wars Rebels, you know, if you follow the whole Star Wars story as a whole, one of the things that you'll find is that Vader always had guilt. He always thought about the tragedies and calamities that he produced within the galaxy. He always thought about Padme and the betrayal that went down with him and the Jedi and Obi-Wan. This always ran through his mind, even while he was Darth Vader. And there was a Darth Vader comic, I think that was just released not too long ago. It's actually a canon comic that I think Disney released recently. That's entitled Darth Vader, and it's one of the things, and it literally takes place right after Revenge of the Sith. And it tells the story about how he takes his journey to get his lightsaber, his red lightsaber crystals. And he kills a Jedi, takes control, or not control, he confiscates that Jedi's lightsaber kyber crystal, goes to Mustafar because Palpatine tells him go to Mustafar because that's heavily dark side energy there. He goes back to Mustafar, and with the Force he attempts to convert the light side kyber crystal to a dark side to a dark saber. You know what I mean, a dark side lightsaber crystal. And while he's doing that, he has a Force vision. And in that Force vision, he sees, it takes him back to, when he's defeated by Obi-Wan Kenobi. And in the Force vision, he sees Darth Vader rising from the lava. He also sees Anakin Skywalker in the background. And Vader and Anakin kind of fight in this Force vision. And in this Force vision, Vader has this, in this Force vision, he temporarily turns back to the light side, and he sees himself going back to Coruscant, killing the Emperor, then going to Tatooine. I don't know how, this is what I don't understand. How would he find Obi-Wan Kenobi? Because he didn't know Obi-Wan was on Tatooine. I didn't understand that part of the comic because Vader didn't know that Obi-Wan was on Tatooine. So I don't know how he would know. But he goes to Tatooine, and in the Force vision, he apologizes to Obi-Wan Kenobi. He asks for forgiveness, and that was the end of the Force vision. At the end of the Force vision, Vader rejects that idea and still converts the lightsaber crystal to a red kyber crystal. Now, the reason I bring up this Force vision is because the point that I want to make is Vader didn't ever really kill Anakin Skywalker. Even though he said it in Star Wars Rebels to Ahsoka, even if, he said it to Luke in Return of the Jedi, Anakin Skywalker, that name no longer has no meaning for me. The truth be told, he never really killed Anakin. Because he never really killed his light side. You know what I mean? His conviction was always there. The remorse that he had was always there. And that is why, ultimately, I believe that although it might have taken longer, I don't think that Anakin ever really needed Luke to push him back to the light, because ultimately his convictions and his remorse was already in the process of doing that. Even though it was taking years to do it, eventually the remorse, the hatred he had for Palpatine, and the conviction he had, ultimately, with or without Luke, would have pushed Anakin back to the light regardless. So, that's one of the reasons why I believe that he never needed Luke. Another reason is you got to look at Episode 6 title, The Return of the Jedi. The title itself doesn't necessarily mean it's the Return of the Jedi Order, because a lot of people might think that that's what it means. Return of the Jedi means Return of the Jedi Order. No. I theorize and I propose that maybe the title could mean the Return of the Jedi Knight. Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi Knight, Anakin Skywalker, meaning the Chosen One. So, sorry. But, so, when you put that proposal thought into, perspective, that also adds on to what I'm saying, that Anakin eventually would have returned regardless. Because of the remorse, because of the conviction, the title says it itself, The Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi Knight, Anakin Skywalker. You combine these theories all together, you'll start to see that Anakin is the Chosen One with or without Luke. Now, a lot of people might also theorize that because of these new sequels, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and Episode 9, that the Force has been thrown out of balance again, so therefore Anakin could not have brought balance to the Force, and he is not the Chosen One. Well, let's slow down there, because truth be told, there is still balance, and I'll tell you why. Anakin, in Revenge of the Sith, he spearheaded the Jedi Temple and annihilated the Jedi Order. Years later, maybe 20 years later, Return of the Jedi, he killed Palpatine. And Palpatine followed the rule of, I believe he followed the rule of two. I don't think he trained a second Sith apprentice, because he had Darth Vader by his side. He had the so-called Chosen One. Although he was, limited by his cybernetics, power-wise, Darth Vader was still, the ultimate Sith. So I don't think Palpatine would have trained a second Sith Lord. I don't think he would. A lot of people might theorize that Snoke is a second Sith, but the writers of Star Wars the Star Wars creators have already made it known publicly that the First Order, Snoke, and the Knights of Ren are not Sith Lords. So obviously, Snoke is not a Sith. So he could not have been trained by Palpatine. So, when Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, kills Palpatine, he then destroys the Sith Order. So, he destroys the Jedi Order, and then years later destroys the Sith Order. So now the Jedi and the Sith technically are extinct. Technically. And the reason I say that is because Luke is not necessarily considered a full-fledged Jedi. You even see, when he, in Return of the Jedi in the beginning, when he visits Jabba's palace to rescue Han Solo, you see him force choke Jabba's guards. He force chokes them. Luke does that. So that tells you that Luke kind of, has like this gray Jedi power where he kind of balances. Although he leans more towards the light, he does sometimes tap into the dark side as well. So he's not a full-fledged Jedi. He's more of a gray area type Jedi. And you see that in Force Awakens when he says, not Force Awakens, sorry, the Last Jedi trailer, when in the trailer he says it's time for the Jedi to end. He's not necessarily saying that the light side should end. He's basically just saying that the Jedi Order, the Jedi Order needs to end. Luke has always been a gray Jedi. A lot of people don't grasp that because what they see is he's been trained by Obi-Wan, he's been trained by Yoda. Yes, he leans more toward light, don't get me wrong, but every once in a while he does tap in to the dark side. He did so again in Return of the Jedi when he faced off against Darth Vader, and Vader told him, if you're not going to turn to the dark side, then perhaps your sister will. And the second he said that, Luke went off. He went full-fledged anger. But what did Yoda say about anger, y'all? Anger leads to the dark side. So, although Luke never really fully became a Sith or a full-fledged dark side user, he still taps into the dark side every now and then. So he's more of a gray Jedi that leans more towards the light. Kind of like Anakin. The only difference is Anakin is more of an extremist. He was once a full-fledged light side, then he completely turns full-fledged dark side, and then at the very last minute, fourth quarter, in Return of the Jedi, he finds balance. So, I don't necessarily believe that Luke is the chosen one, because he did not kill the Jedi and the Sith Order the way Anakin did. You know what I mean? And I do not believe that Luke is going to bring balance in this movie. Nor do I think that Rey is going to bring balance in this new trilogy either. I think that Rey might be trained in the gray Jedi teachings. I think she might even see Anakin's Force Ghost and he might give her some direction. And she might even be the new chosen one in the sense that in this new theology of light and dark, she might need to restore balance in that sense. But the Force as a whole bringing balance, Anakin has already done that. Canon-wise, and it's not just that, but George Lucas has already made it crystal clear, and I know a lot of you might think, well, George Lucas doesn't own Star Wars no more, so it doesn't matter what he says. Actually, it does. It does. Because one of the things that Disney cannot do, and I'm pretty sure George Lucas, when he sold Star Wars to Disney, I'm pretty sure he put this in the contract, that they cannot fuck with what's already canon within the 6 movies. They can't fuck with it. And notice that they haven't done it yet. They haven't remade the prequels. They haven't remade, any of the sequels. And I don't think they're going to. Because I don't think they can. I don't think they legally can touch what's already canon. So, George Lucas has already made it crystal clear Anakin Skywalker is undoubtedly the chosen one. Regardless of these new characters, regardless of Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker is and always will be the chosen one. That's how I feel. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. You know, I'm always open to new Star Wars theories. Demon Killer Scorp is signing off. And we kill demons!